Yes, everybody, welcome back to Talking Wolves. Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. I hope you guys are keeping well. An update video with the latest transfer news over the last few days or so. We did one towards the end of last week, so we've got another one out now with the latest goings on. Before we kick off, please go and check out our channel partners over at Football Prizes. This week, another great Wolves prize up for grabs. It is a signed and framed shirt from the 23-24 season, which ends next week. So if you want to get involved in that prize draw, you can do so by visiting the link in the top of the description. And before we move on to the transfer news, very frustrating once again that we still have had no official response from the club in regards to the statements and the petition that we did as the fan channels and podcasts and the Wolves Supporters Trust for 13, 14, 15,000 signatures, and just gobsmacked that there's no formal response as of yet from the club. So I'm hoping over the next couple of days we see something, but again, really not surprised, and yeah, really disappointed with what's going on, to be completely honest. One thing before we move on to the transfers as well is that Wolves' proposal to scrap VAR is set to be rejected by other Premier League clubs. They've got the annual meeting this week, the Premier League shareholders meeting, which Jeff Shee was going to basically present this idea, but it's thought that it's going to be rejected by other Premier League clubs. However, various improvements and tweaks to the existing system are going to be pursued. Of course, you've got the semi-automated offside coming in sometime throughout the season as well. But yeah, Wolves' proposal to scrap VAR is set to be rejected. Move on to the transfer news. We had a story late on Saturday from the Mirror. Manchester United are keeping tabs on the Wolves forward Matheus Cunha. They've been scouting him and keeping a close eye on him. Cunha joined Wolves for just under £50 million. It was on this report, it said that Manchester United are looking at a potential £60 million move for Matheus Cunha. Fantastic player, really kicked on this year. You would assume Wolves will probably hope for a little bit more than 60 million, to be completely honest, but it's a good amount of money to bring in. It's an okay amount of profit, although you'd think we'd want a lot more. But for me, he's such a good footballer. It'd be a shame to lose him for that amount of money, to be honest. But early days, very early days on this one. No one more reputable has reported this as of yet. But Cunha did post a bit of a cryptic post yesterday on his story with him playing against Manchester United. It did seem a little bit random, to be completely honest. But Cunha, I would obviously be hugely in favour of him staying at Wolves. But who knows? It wasn't one that I had down as maybe a sellable asset this summer, to be completely honest. One forward that Wolves have been heavily linked with predominantly last summer was Boulaye Dia from Salernitana. Now, if you remember, we did various pieces of content on this because Wolves had put in quite a late deadline day move to sign him on loan, which really upset the Italian club and the president and the owner. And really it kicked everything off. Boulaye Dia just refused to play, and it was all because he wanted to pursue a move to Wolves, really. So this summer they're really eager to move him on, but apparently the striker is still desperate for a move to the Premier League. Now, Lazio have had a bid accepted for the striker, but it's thought that he may well turn that down to see if he can get a move to the Premier League. According to reports in Italy, Wolves apparently still are in the mix, but not willing to offer anywhere near what Lazio are offering. I'm not too sure if that's in regards to wage demands or in terms of actual monetary value of the fee. So interesting to see what happens with that one. But Boulaye Dia still wanting to move to the Premier League, but with the way he's acted, do fans want him, or would fans welcome him at Wolverhampton Wanderers? And now, the goalkeeper situation has been something that's been up for discussion for nearly 18 months now. It's reported in 2023, January, that Wolves were keeping an eye on potential goalkeeper options. Obviously, it was a position that Wolves weren't 100% happy with. Jose Sarr has had a mixed season in terms of success. He's had some great games, but also dropped some absolute clangers this year. And it's obvious now that Wolves are possibly looking for a replacement. Now, it's reported by Team Talk this week that Jose Sarr is actually open to leaving Wolves this summer. And Jorge Mendes, his agent, has actually already sounded out interest from other clubs across Europe and in Saudi Arabia. So this could mean, a move for Wolves to go for another goalkeeper is possible. The difficulty with this, and a difficulty probably we'll see throughout this transfer window, is that there's so many international tournaments going on at the moment. You've got the Euros, Copa America, the Olympics as well. Could really slow down this transfer window, and fans will probably be itching to try and get some more transfer news if players are at the Euros, like Pedro Neto, for argument's sake, it's going to just prolong the whole process, to be honest. But if Sarr goes, obviously Wolves are going to need a replacement. One replacement that was mentioned today is the Liverpool number 2, Kelleher, the Irish goalkeeper, has told Liverpool apparently that he wants to move on so he can become a number 1 elsewhere. Wolves apparently interested in him. There was already interest previously. I think it was last January we saw interest in Kelleher as well. However, it said that Celtic, the Scottish club, the Scottish champions, have got the 25-year-old in their sights, and he's their number 1 target this summer to replace Joe Hart, who's set to retire. So Kelleher is an interesting one. Obviously not huge amounts of first-team experience. Wolves have been linked with various goalkeepers, as you would have seen over the last week or so as well. I would have mentioned some on the last video. In terms of a young goalkeeper, now Wolves have been linked with a couple of young goalkeepers. Maybe he's an understudy or a number 2 for Sarr, or potentially a new goalkeeper. Another one has come about last night as well, with Liam Keane of the Express and Star reporting that Wolves are keeping their eye on the Dutch goalkeeper Caoimhín El-Hani, 17 years of age, currently playing for Ajax's youth sides, and had a really impressive season. Interest for Wolves is thought to be at a really early stage, but a number of clubs have already inquired about signing El-Hani. And it'll be interesting to see. I think this is a really interesting idea for Wolves. If you can have a number 2, someone that can maybe play in the 21s as well, and become homegrown that way as well. Long term, this could be a very clever signing for Wolves. But there was another goalkeeper we linked with from, I think, AZ Alkmaar a few months ago, or last year as well. So it's obviously a market that Wolves are keeping their eye on. Going back to South America as well, Wolves are set to potentially reignite their interest in Flamengo's midfielder Victor Hugo. 20-year-old midfielder. Wolves did have a bid rejected towards the end of last summer for between 16 and 18 million euros. No, I think the offer last year, was 20 million euros, but Flamengo now are open to maybe looking at an offer between 16 and 18 million euros. Game time has been a little bit strange for Victor Hugo, so that's why he could be available at a slightly lower price. A player that would have played with João Gomes previously as well. So that came from a report over in Brazil. A couple of reports from Portugal as well. Arbola have said that Wolves have got an interest in the Famalicão fullback Francisco Moura. Left-sided defender, can play left back or left wing back. Again, got interest from clubs in both Spain and England, but Wolves are credited with an interest valued at around 10 million euros. And sticking on the subject of Famalicão as well, Chiquinho, the Wolves loanee, who's had a fairly decent season out there. Of course, he had the nasty injury last year. He came back at the start of this year and was initially out on loan at Stoke, but then that move was terminated and moved across to Portugal, where he's been in amongst the goals and assists throughout the season. I've seen him get a number of Man of the Match and Player of the Month awards. But now Sporting are said to be interested in Chiquinho. But the strange part about this is that Wolves apparently would be open to selling him for just 4.5 million euros. Now, I think Wolves are just about break even on that, not major profit or so on, but very strange. This is from Record in Portugal. Very strange that the fee would be so low for Chiquinho. 24 years of age now, really needs to make the decision in his career. Is he going to stick at Wolves and try and fight for a first team place, which I'm sure a lot of fans are excited and probably expect to see next year, or are Wolves going to cash in on him just to make a quick little bit of money? Who knows? Guys, do let me know your thoughts on today's news and rumours. Hopefully we've got some more positive news in the next one. If there's enough rumours, maybe one later on this week or over the weekend. I do have some plans to bring out some of the different types of transfer videos as well, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll catch you all very, very soon.